Well, now I am in a booth called Molecat, and I'm here with Vern. And you know, all of us gardeners, Vern, if we're really honest, the majority of us really get frustrated with the moles and gophers.
They definitely do.
Just,
We've seen our share of them.
Well, we have, and you know, you get that perfect yard, and you go out in the morning, and there's that mountain that you just want to scream at.
Ugly
so
sight.
You have come up, and this was your idea, right?
Yes.
This is a concept that you came up with about a way to really get rid of them.
Yes.
So let's talk about that for a little bit, how you came up with the design, and then let's look at how you work it.
Well, the concept came to me one afternoon when I was reading a story in the Oregonian about the roadside bombs. Percussion is a very deadly force, and when it is used, the Taliban realized that that was a very deadly force, and they used that. They used
because of the sound.
Yeah, the shock wave. And so I was thinking about that, and I thought that's got to work on a mole.
Yeah.
But now we have to just have a device that will hold a shell or a round or something that will explode in that hole. All we got to do is put it in the hole for it.
Yeah. And of course, you know, you're aware of safety. You had to think of those
Sure.
considerations too. I find it really interesting about the cat story. How did that go about?
My cat was out in the yard, and I watched him working on a molehill. He put his paw down inside that hole, or the mound, and made a small hole in it. Then he just sat there and waited. That's all he did.
Because they're drawn to the fresh air and
Yeah.
the minute he saw it. And so that gave you an idea.
Gave me an idea that you left fresh air in there, he's going to come back to repair that hole, and that's what he does.
Yeah.
Because the atmosphere is basically set up in there for the worm, and the worm does not like air.
Yeah.
And when that worm encounters air, he vacates a hole, and there goes the mole's food.
Interest as well as it really is fascinating. So in your mind, the wheels started turning and you came up with the Molecat.
Now the Molecat's a very simple concept. It's just an explosive that you place in that hole. And when you put that down inside that hole, the mole is going to try to push this back out of the hole. He will trigger it by trying to force it out of the hole or force dirt up into that hole to plug or repair
Sure.
that hole. And that's when he sets it off.
And it's really very simple to set up.
Yeah, it uses the ball, and the ball is what sets the spring and the hammer to the trigger. So when we rotate the ball clockwise until it stops turning, then we push it down, push the trigger down, rotate the safety, back the ball off, we release that spring and that hammer to the trigger. Now there are two safeties on this unit. The first one is called the trigger safety, and this is called the hammer safety. The only time the hammer will allow the round to go off is when it is rotated back as far as it'll go and it comes to a stop. That allows the hammer to strike the shell.
Okay.
So that's why this second safety is never taken off until it's in the bag, in the hole, and stapled
And
in
ready
there.
to go.
And then you put your bucket over it after you release that trigger.
And so really the only way to, even if a pet or a child hit this, it's not going to go off. It's
Right.
going to be in the ground.
All the energy goes down inside the hole. So it's placed down inside a hole.
Yeah.
And it's placed up to the red cap. So once it's down inside that hole, all that energy goes down in that hole. If they bump it, it will trigger
But it'll
because
be
it is very sensitive and it takes 2 ounces to trigger it. So when a child comes along and it is inside a bag, he touches or hits that, it goes off in that hole.
Nice.
Nothing happens above the ground.
So Vern, what is the sound that you and I would hear?
When you got it inside that hole, all the energy goes down inside that hole. So all you hear is a hand clap. It sounds like a hand clap.
That's not going to break any city
That's not going to
ordinances.
break any city ordinance, and you're in the safe and clear.
Nice. Well, you know, I'm intrigued by this, I have to admit. And for more information, you can go to their website. They have a listing of all the different places where you can actually go and buy them right now. But while you're, here visiting the YGP show, come on down, talk to Vern, really get the base information, and then take care of those moles in your own garden. Thank you so much, Vern.
And yeah, thank you for coming in.